how could you eat exclusively and affordably from a 7-Eleven across an entire day? I tetris together a couple of options that I'll share with you. Welcome to the Commune podcast. My name is Jeff Krasno. Okay, today's episode, titled How to Eat Healthy from a 7-Eleven, is the product of some serious in-the-field research. Now, as you will hear, I spent a Sunday morning meandering the aisles of a local 7-Eleven store in search of healthy food options. Now, this project might sound akin to looking for a yoga mat at a Jets game, but you might just be surprised at what I discovered. So one of Commune's primary missions from inception was to democratize access to well-being. And this objective has shaped our business model, and it's the reason why we offer a tremendous amount of content for free, including here on YouTube. But too often, healthy lifestyles have been reserved for the affluent. Indeed, while hyperbaric chambers and float tanks and cryotherapy are intriguing innovations, they are beyond the means of most people and redolent of some elitism. Now, most of the basic protocols that confer health benefits are free. In fact, many of them are older than fiat currency itself. Fasting intelligently, for example, saves you money. Almost everyone can access a cold stream of water. There's no credit card required for getting light in the morning, as no one has found a way to charge for the sun yet. Meditation is free and can sometimes set you free. Walking does not require a membership, nor do push-ups. Connecting your bare feet to the ground, or I suppose your bare soul to your neighbors, comes with no fee. Now, adopting these practices will take you a long way to becoming your healthiest self. But what about food? Glorious food. So purchasing nutrient-dense, organic, whole food is unduly expensive. And while farmers markets and organic grocers have expanded their respective footprints, healthy food remains cost prohibitive and unavailable to many people. 20 million Americans live in complete food deserts with limited access to a supermarket. Now, of course, what lines the aisles of most grocery stores is as much of a problem as inaccessibility. The constellation of big food, industrial agriculture, and governmental policy colludes to produce a surfeit of refined, shelf-stable, cheap calories under the true cost of production. And this foodstuff is leveraging our biology against us. Plain and simple, it is making you sick. Now, I've often quipped, you can pay the farmer or you can pay the pharmacist. Now, a lifetime supply of statins or insulin or metformin is likely going to cost you more than fresh veggies. But insurance doesn't cover vegetables. And this statement assumes there's even a farmer around to pay. So while shopping at the convenience store often leads to a very inconvenient assortment of diseases, in many cases, it is the only option. So in light of this problem, I spent last Sunday morning on a research project to determine the 11 healthiest food options at 7-Eleven. Is there a way to shop affordably at a convenience store and eat healthy? That was the question. So a couple of asterisks. I am not contending that shopping at 7-Eleven is a preferable choice. Cooking your own food is almost always going to be a healthier choice than buying prepackaged food. But if your options are limited through time, money, or access, or if you're traveling, I think it's important to know the alternatives. While the foods I identified represent the best options, none of them are organic, with a few exceptions. So they may have been grown with pesticides and herbicides, and they may also contain harmful antibiotics. Lastly, the 7-Eleven that I visited is in the San Fernando Valley, just north of Los Angeles. The prices at this 7-Eleven, given its location, will be 25 to 50% higher than in areas with cheaper rent. Now, I cannot guarantee that the items that I have picked out are available at all 7-Elevens. For example, there was one prepackaged salad at my 7-Eleven which made the list. Is this Cobb salad available in Arkansas? I don't know. Now, of course, 99% of all the foodstuffs on the shelves are pure crap at any 7-Eleven. The range of candy is jaw-dropping. I mean, who knew there were 20 varieties of Skittles? Now, I won't dwell too much on the ubiquity of sugar-laden products, but the top 3 ingredients in Skittles are sugar, corn syrup, also sugar, and hydrogenated palm kernel oil. There are 43 grams of sugar in a serving size. And then we wonder why over 50% of Americans have diabetes or prediabetes. So sharing the same aisle as Skittles are an ample selection of pharmaceutical products. The irony here is thick. Sell them the food that makes them sick, and then, just over here, sell them the medicine. That is a superlative business model. Okay, here's what I was looking for. Number 1, sufficient protein. Number 2, minimal ingredients, additives, and preservatives. Number 3, fiber. Number 4, minimal added sugar. Number 5, not too many calories. And number 6, organic where possible. Here's what I wasn't looking for. Number 1, micro and phytonutrients. Not because they are not important, because it's nearly impossible to find. And number 2, essential fats, polyunsaturated fatty acids. Now, there are some omega-3s hidden there in the aisles, but they're pretty hard to find. Okay, so here are my results of the top 11 healthiest foods at 7-Eleven in no particular order. Okay, let me start with Amy's broccoli and cheddar bake. This was a frozen item, and also the most expensive item at $9.29. This option is actually organic. It has a solid amount of protein at 17 grams, quite a lot of carbs at 50 grams, and you're getting almost 25% of your total calories here with 460 calories. Okay, number 2 is a banana, which reps as the only whole food in the entire store. Lots of potassium and a decent amount of vitamin C and magnesium. Okay, number 3, the 7-Eleven private label, California Cobb salad, ringing in at $6.49. Now, the Cobb is pretty satiating with a good amount of water volume and 25 grams of protein. Okay, next on the list is Chobani Greek yogurt, the only other organic option. A yogurt is a very solid source of protein with 12 grams per serving for only $2.79. That's a pretty good deal. On the downside, 9 grams of added sugar. Okay, numbers 5 and 6 are both protein bars. First is the Quest protein bar, coming in at an impressive 20 grams of protein. The RX bar is $3.49 versus $3.99 for Quest, but only has 12 grams of protein. The RX bar was actually very impressive in terms of its minimal ingredients. I could actually pronounce every ingredient in it. Okay, number 7, I have the Jack Link's beef jerky. Now, obviously, this is factory farmed meat, but the protein load is pretty decent. Why they have to add 7 grams of sugar per serving is just beyond me, but it's in there. Number 8 is the 7-Eleven private label whole cashews. Solid magnesium, iron, and protein, but holy calories, fat man. 510 per serving, overwhelmingly from fat. Now remember, fat is the most caloric macronutrient at 9 calories per gram. So one serving of cashews has 40 grams of fat. So if you're eating nuts by the handful and gaining weight, now you know why. Still, in comparison to most options at 7-Eleven, Cashews make the list at number 8. Numbers 9 and 10 are similar in nutrition profile. We have Hormel canned chicken breast and Bumblebee chunk light tuna. Now the chicken is $1.10 more per serving, but they are both extremely lean, very little fat. Virtually all of the calories here are coming from protein. They each boast a whopping 22 grams. Now, in terms of value, both of these items would be at the top of my list. Lastly, but not leastly, coming in at number 11 is the canned Del Monte green beans. Now, green beans are pretty neutral in terms of macros. Their role here is fiber, about 3.5 grams per serving, and will only set you back $1 per serving. So there you go with the top 11 options. The next big question was, how could you eat exclusively and affordably from a 7-Eleven across an entire day? So I Tetris together a couple of options that I'll share with you. Now, my nutrition goal here was 100 grams of protein minimum and between 1,700 and 2,000 calories. So you're getting your amino acids while restricting calories a tiny bit. So option 1, breakfast, yogurt and banana. Lunch, salad with add canned chicken, 1 serving of green beans, and an RX bar to boot. You can have a little snack in the afternoon with the cashews and indulge in dinner with Amy's broccoli and cheddar bake. Add another canned chicken and 1 serving of your Del Monte green beans. Now, this combination yielded a whopping 127 grams of protein, 2,080 calories, and seems like quite a bit of food. You could certainly skip the cashews and save some calories. Now, this rather beefy menu costs $37.32, so pretty expensive, but again, these are LA-based prices, so that might be like $25 or even $20 somewhere else. Option 2, this is a rather tedious and unimaginative affair, but this was eating 4 Cobb salads, and this yielded 100 grams of protein and 1,680 calories for $25.96. So that's pretty good. Now, there are many different combinations to this lock, and if you're interested, email me at jeffk@onecommune.com, and I'll send you the entire spreadsheet, and you can tinker with it, and you can honestly use it flexibly for your diet just in general. Now, I will also mention that there were many wolves in sheep's clothing lurking mostly in the refrigerated section. The Naked Mighty Mango Juice presents itself as a healthy option, but a 15.2 ounce bottle has 57 grams of sugar and was $5.19 to boot. Another deceptive drink was the Health-Ade Kombucha, which contained 17 grams of carbs, including 12 grams of added sugar. And I thought drinking fermented mushrooms was supposed to be good for you. Anyways, while it's possible to piece together some semblance of a healthy regime from a convenience store, the moral of the story is really this. We need to upend our food system. It should not be so difficult to access healthy food. We need a new farm bill that actually really supports farmers. Too many farmers are barely scraping by with subsidies that incentivize the planting of GMO cash crops. And this system allows big food to produce ultra-processed crap under its true cost. And then they can turn around and sell it both cheaply and profitably. And the result of this vicious cycle is the cresting rates of chronic disease. Now imagine if we could sell regeneratively and organically grown products under their true cost of production. Well, that's another video. In the meantime, we must fend for ourselves and leverage the knowledge that we have to live the healthiest that we can. And I hope that this video helps. So thanks a lot for listening to this episode of the Commune podcast. If you enjoy this content, please share it with a friend.